Hello, welcome to the show. Well, normal deck of cards, all that kind of stuff. All you need to do is, I'm just going to do that, and you just say stop whenever you want. Okay, so
right, wait, oops, sorry.
Yep, yep. No worries. I'll start again, that's all good.
Okay, and go.
Hello, welcome to the show. Normal deck of cards, all that kind of stuff. I'm just going to do that, and you just say stop whenever you want. Really easy. Stop. Wonderful. Take off that one, have a look at it, show it to the camera, make sure everyone sees what the card is. Lovely, wonderful, thank you very much. Yes, just in case, I'm just going to put it somewhere near the middle-ish. Perfect, now put your hand up for me. Wonderful, put your other hand on top. Brilliant, now just lift it up a little bit. Wonderful. Now I want you to imagine the two black kings for you, so the king of clubs and the king of spades. Have you got them in your head? Wonderful. Now imagine them turning face up in the deck for you.
Okay.
Yeah, you done that?
Yeah.
Okay, now I want you to think of your card, and your card being sandwiched between the two face-up kings. You done that?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome, take your hand away. Lovely. We'll see how well we do. If we have a look through here, we should get. There's the two kings. So, and what was the card you chose?
Ace of diamonds.
The 8 of diamonds. Awesome! Now we'll try it again. We'll do it in a different way this time. Do you know how to shuffle cards?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's give it a bit of a mix. Give it a little bit of a shuffle. That'd be lovely. And oh wow, proper hardcore. I like it. Good. And we're going to put your just split the deck wherever you want. Lovely. And give them another little mix. Another little mix. Good. And just hold them like that for me. Perfect. Just like that.
Oh, okay.
Wonderful. It's like you've done this before. Skills.
Yeah.
Okay, ready? Pull a little bit high. Wonderful. There's 1, 2. One card just between the two.
What the f-
8 diamonds, yes?
Yeah.
What the
That's party tricks, guys. Yeah! Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Simon South Party Tricks. Here today for Series 2, Episode 3. Yeah! All going well, all going super exciting. Now, today I thought it'd be quite apt to talk about Harry Houdini. So I did all my research and all that kind of thing. So we're going to be looking at the historical background of a wonderful man, Mr. Harry Houdini, also known as Eric Weiss. So he was born in Hungary, in Budapest, in March 24th, 1874. That was a very long time ago. But yeah, he was one of 7 siblings, and he arrived in the United States on July the 3rd, 1878. So he was aged 4 when he actually arrived in the United States, when the family changed their name. So originally it was Eric Weiss, spelled the Hungarian way, which is spelled E-R-I-K, Eric, and then Weiss, W-E-I-S-Z, and then they changed the name to more German sounding. I'm not quite sure why, but they changed the spelling. So Eric became E-H-R-I-C-K, and Weiss just with 2 S's instead of the Z. So yeah, there's your interesting weird fact of the day. Boom! So he began his magic career in 1891, but he didn't get very far with it. So he performed in dime museums and sideshows, and performed with another guy who was a strong man in a circus tent, trying to get more people along. And he also performed as the wild man in circuses. So the wild man was someone that just ran around being like, "Rah!" So yeah, it's a bit of an odd one. And he decided to bill himself as the King of Cards. The King of Cards, which has now been taken on by another magician called Jeff McBride, but back in the day, no one had thought to call themselves that. So Harry Houdini decided on the King of Cards would be his thing, but sleight of hand artists at the time all agreed that although he was competent with a deck of cards, he wasn't that great. He didn't have the finesse to become amazing and an incredible card magician. So he decided to instead look at his escapes and concentrate on being an escape artist. Now his name Harry Houdini comes from one of his idols, who's Jean-Robert Houdin. So he was a massively very famous magician, and he was famous for making automata, which is like robots and stuff out of clockwork that just, you wind them up and they do this really cool thing. And Harry apparently came from Harry Keller, who is someone that we discussed on the show before, who did a levitation when we chatted about levitations last time. So yeah, Harry Keller and Jean-Robert Houdin combined to make Harry Houdini. He added the I because apparently he mistakenly thought that in French adding an I on the end of a word would mean it was like. So he wanted to be like Houdin. So Houdini. It's I don't know where he got that from, but apparently that's what he thought. No one obviously spoke French around there, so couldn't help him out. So in 1893, whilst performing with his brother was called Dash. Dash was his stage name. They performed at Coney Island as the Brothers Houdini, and then he met a fellow performer called Wilhelmina Beatrice Rachner, or Bess. and Houdini ended up marrying Bess in 1894, and Bess replaced Houdini's brother. Houdini's brother then went on to become his own escape artist and his own thing, and Bess became Houdini's stage assistant then, and they were just called simply the Houdinis. And Bess was performing with Harry Houdini all the way through until his death. So every single show she would be there helping him out with something and doing all that sort of thing. So Harry's big break came in 1899 when he met his manager. His manager was impressed with Houdini's handcuff escape and told him to concentrate on that, drop the magic, concentrate on the escapes and stuff, because no one was really doing that at the time. It was an interesting thing. People were curious about it, were interested in how it could work, and so he decided to concentrate just on that. And his manager booked him up in all the Orpheum vaudeville circuit. And when he was performing in the top he was also performing in the top vaudeville houses in the country. And in 1900, Houdini did his first European tour. So yeah, in the UK, Houdini actually went down to Scotland Yard to do a demonstration of his handcuff escape, and he successfully baffled all the police at Scotland Yard, which booked him a 6-month residency at the Alhambra Theatre for 6 months. And obviously because of this, his salary went up as well. So I think by that time he was being paid $300 a week, which was a lot of money in the 1900s. That's a lot of money. And he ended up buying. He bought a dress for his mum, and this dress was reportedly owned by Queen Victoria at some point, and so he bought this dress for his mum to say, thank you for looking after me, and he's got a picture of her in the dress and that kind of thing, and he bought this massive, what we probably call now a McMansion kind of thing, like a huge mansion in America, in New York, so he just had all this money, so he put it to good use and helped the people that helped him. So Houdini became known as the Handcuff King in England, and he toured England, Scotland, the Netherlands, Germany, France and Russia. And in each city, Houdini challenged local police people to tie him up with shackles and lock him into their cells, and a lot of the times as well they would strip him down naked, so that there was nowhere anything could hide, and they would search him, search his mouth, search other places to try and find whether there was a key or anything like that, to find out a way whether he can escape or not. And he managed to fool everyone with it. From 1907 and through until the 1910s, Houdini performed with great success in the United States. He managed to free himself from jails, handcuffs, chains, ropes and straitjackets. And a lot of these were, especially with the straitjacket escape, hanging upside down from a crane or from a building, something like that, where the street audience could look on, because obviously he's gathered a massive audience nowadays. He's like, the modern day, our modern day equivalent would be someone like Dynamo. Imagine Dynamo now going into the centre of London, hanging upside down and escaping out of a straitjacket. It'd be amazing. Everyone would want to go and watch it. But because of imitations, Houdini decided to stop doing the handcuff act. And on the 25th of January 1908, he began escaping from a locked milk can that was filled with milk. So how that works is it's it's like a massive milk can. If we pretend this is the milk can, and he'd get in, and the whole thing would be filled to the top with milk. And he'd get in, displace some of the water, the top would go back on top, and then the locks here, and here to lock it down. And the idea would be that there'd be a curtain that would draw in. When the curtain was drawn in, he'd be given a minute or 2 minutes, 5 minutes, something like that to escape, and then they'd draw the curtain away, and then he'd be out the milk can. And so it was all done with a curtain, so no one could see how he actually did it, which is a wonderful, amazing thing. So yes, and of course the possibility of this, there's more danger, there's more chance that he could actually die, because he's being put in a milk can that you could drown if you didn't do it well. So he also expanded his repertoire with an escape challenge, in which he invited the public to devise contraptions to hold him in, which I find is quite interesting. Well, I've got a list of some of the fun ones. So a nailed packing crate was one of them, which he was also submerged underwater with. So he managed to escape from one of those. A riveted boiler, some wet sheets, a mailbag, and the belly of a whale. that was washed up on the shore of Boston. Someone challenged him to be able to escape from that. So I imagine with that one he'd be all chained up and thrown in the belly. It just sounds so weird. Like, imagine someone doing that today. That'd be amazing. Obviously every challenge that he accepted, he managed to escape from. And breweries as well, this is a good one. Breweries would say to Harry Houdini to try and escape from their beer barrels. So they'd put all the beer, they'd fill all the beer up to the top, just like the milk can escape, and they'd put Houdini in it, and he'd try and get out. And that was a great publicity stunt as well, because it was, Harry Houdini, can he escape from, I don't know, Thwaites beer, and all of a sudden Thwaites is everywhere because Harry Houdini's done a stunt for them. Now also a really interesting one is the Daily. Was it the Daily Mail? I didn't write this down, but I think it was something like that in America. There was the Daily Mail. Yes, it was. They had someone work on a pair of handcuffs for 5 years, reportedly for 5 years, to try and fool Houdini and So Houdini was on the stage. They put him in the handcuffs, and it took him an hour and 10 minutes to escape from these handcuffs. And they were the trickiest handcuffs that Houdini had ever had to escape from. Now, there is some speculation that with this pair of handcuffs, that Houdini himself, because he was a massive showman and he knew what he was doing, the speculation that Houdini himself actually commissioned these and had them made and knew exactly how it was to get out. And he spanned the whole story like it was something from P.T. Barnum, spanned the whole thing so that it sounded like it was someone else that was trying to challenge him, and that kind of thing. There is actually a copy. There was only 6 of these handcuffs made in the world. There is a copy of them at the Houdini Museum with a massive 6-inch long key that goes along with them. There was literally nowhere for that key to hide either. Apparently, he asked at some point, because this was done behind a curtain as well. It wasn't done out in front of everyone because obviously you didn't want to see people how he was getting out. He did ask. He came out with the curtain a few times, asked if someone could remove the handcuffs so that he could take his coat off. And when they refused, because they didn't want to see how he would open them, he asked for a penknife and ripped his own jacket off so that he could get out quicker. And then at some point, Best came on stage and gave him a kiss, good luck, and then within 10 minutes he was out. A lot of people think that Best passed him the key, but it's this big, massive 6-inch long key. There's no way she could fit that in her mouth and secretly pass it along. So no idea how we got out. Still, it's an interesting one. In 1913, Harry Houdini developed the Chinese water torture chamber or torture cell, which is what a lot of people know him today. You've probably seen it done on a few different things. I believe Matthew. I can't remember a second. You will have seen it on Britain's Got Talent. Really beardy guy. He did a version of this where it was a big, massive glass box filled with water, and he had loads of keys thrown in. It was locked, and the idea was to try and get it out. In Houdini's version, which is the original one, he's suspended upside down in a locked glass and steel cabinet filled to overflowing with water, holding his breath for more than 3 minutes. He performed this stunt for the rest of his life, and apparently he performed it the first time ever for just one person, so that he could actively say that he had performed it, which allowed him to get a patent on it. He just performed it for one person, so that he could get a patent down before it went out to the general public, because he was sick and fed up of people copying his material. So he do that for the rest of his life. And for most of his career, he was a headline vaudeville act. For many years, he was the highest paid performer in American vaudeville, and Houdini's most notable non-escape show was at the New York Hippodrome, where he vanished a fully grown elephant from the stage. This is a really interesting thing. And in 1923, he became president of Martinique, which is America's oldest magic company, which is still in operation today. And also, he became the president of the Society of American Magicians until his death in 1923, I believe that was. No, 1926. I've written it down. And then when he was the president of the SAM, or Society of American Magicians, he actually got loads of magicians together. He actively made an effort to come out of New York and go and visit loads of different magic societies and magic sects, and try and persuade them all to join SAM, because he thought if everyone was together in one big thing, they would be stronger, they would be able to hold onto their secrets easier, and it would make a big, massive thing. And that's the reason why it's such a huge organisation today. There is even there's chapters all around America. There's chapters in UK. There's chapters all around the world, and it's all thanks to Houdini being president there. So he did a lot in his term. I think he was there in office for 10 years. I think it was, or just short, before he died. Houdini also made some films. In 1918, he signed a contract with a producer to star in a 15-part serial called The Master Mystery, which then led to Houdini being signed by another production company to star in a film called The Grim Game, and also a film called Terror Island, which sounds kind of cool. So apparently the Grim Game, we don't have any copies of that really. We have segments of it, but we don't have a lot of it. The Terror Game, it's the Terror Island, yes we do. And then after the success, he started his own production company called the Houdini Picture Corporation. He performed and starred in his own 2 films called The Man from Beyond and Haldane of the Secret Service. He gave up on the movie business in 1923, complaining that profits were just too meagre. So yeah, he wasn't making any money from it really. And now in 1920s, we come to Harry Houdini's kind of James Randi moment. So he started concentrating his efforts on debunking psychics. So he obviously is trained in magic, so he knows what people are doing, he knows about cold reading, he knows about that kind of aspect of stuff, and so he decided to make his mission to go along and try and stop fake psychics and fake mediums from basically ripping off people that have spent loads and loads of time, trying to, all that kind of thing. So he decided to go along. So he was a member of the Scientific American community, and they decided to create a prize. So anyone that could come along to Scientific American community and say, right, I'm going to fool you now. I'm going to actually speak to someone that's living, someone that's dead, and that they would award them a prize. And no one actually took him up on that offer. So no one ever won the prize. So Houdini also turned up to seances disguised, because obviously people knew what he looked like. So he would turn up to seances disguised. He'd turn up with a policeman and he'd turn up with a reporter. And so he would watch the show, and then during the show he would go, right, you're all fake, you're all lying, and this kind of thing. And he would then tell the policeman to go and arrest them for fraud, and the reporter would write it all down. So yeah, really cool, interesting thing there. Also, Houdini fell out with, he was good friends with Arthur Conan Doyle, who is the guy that wrote all the Sherlock books, in case you didn't know. And Arthur Conan Doyle was a massive spiritualist. He loved ghosts and all that kind of thing, completely 100% believed in mediums and stuff like that. And Harry Houdini was good friends with him and tried to persuade him otherwise, and say, look, and did certain aspects, so did like cold reading and things like that mediums would have used on Arthur Conan Doyle. And Arthur Conan Doyle was like, well, yeah, you've got the gift. And he's like, no, this is how I'm doing it. I'm doing it like this, and this. Until the point where Arthur Conan Doyle was just, they fell out. Arthur Conan Doyle said that Harry Houdini has become a massive enemy to the spiritualist movement, which is a shame, really. But yeah, it's quite cool, Before he died, he also agreed with his wife Bess on a secret code. So if he was able to communicate after death, she would know it would be him. So I believe the secret code was something like from Rosalie, I think it was, or from Rosemary or Rosalie. And Bess decided to hold yearly seances on Halloween to try and figure out whether or not she can actually talk to Houdini. And the tradition still continues every year today. Every day today on the 31st of October, Halloween. There is a seance for Houdini every single year. So yeah, that's a cool little thing. Hosted by the Society of American Magicians, and it is done by their necromancer. So imagine that being a cool title. Like, I'm necromancer for this year. I don't know. Sounds quite cool. So the death of Houdini unfortunately came on October the 31st, 1926. He died of peritonitis. and a ruptured appendix, and he was aged 52. Witnesses speculated that it came because a student in his dressing room punched him in the abdomen repeatedly. Now, Houdini said in his show that no one could, someone could punch him really, really hard and it wouldn't affect him, he would be fine. But obviously he needed to tense himself and get ready for that. What happened was he was lying down in his room, and this kid just came into his room and was like, "Oh, Houdini, amazing," and just punched him in the stomach a good few times, without giving Houdini any notice that he was about to do that. Despite this happening, he actually went on and performed 3 more shows. So he did 3 days of shows after that, before being hospitalised. And when he was hospitalised, then he died, unfortunately, in hospital. So Houdini's legacy actually lives on at the Houdini Museum in Sacramento, in Pennsylvania. Saranton, Pennsylvania. I'll get that right, God. Which is open to the public year-round. And also David Copperfield also owns 80,000 pieces of Houdini memorabilia in his private museum in Las Vegas. And the Magic Castle as well hosts its own Houdini seance every single year, which has been, as I said, when he died, Bess waited 10 years, did the seance every 10 years, and then after the 10th year, she had a candle that was always lit by a picture of him. She blew out the candle and just went, 10 years is long enough to wait for any man, which I think is very apt. But she asked that the tradition be kept on, so that's why the Society of American Magicians keep it on and keep going with it, and obviously the Magic Castle do one. I imagine there are many people all around the world and around the UK and other places that do their own Houdini seance as well, because wouldn't it be cool? Wouldn't it be awesome if he did actually come back one day? So guys, that's pretty much it for today. I might as well let's try and show you a quick little trick as well. Let's go for it. I can't remember whether or not I actually we've done this one, but we'll give it a go. We'll have some fun with this. Let's see what we're gonna do. Okay, I know what we'll do. We'll do this. Chase, do you want to get in on this? Chase is the band, just deck a card. I'll give it a quick little shuffle as well. So all I want you to do is just split it into 4 piles. Yeah, one more. Perfect, brilliant. Now I want you to pick up this pile and take the top 3 cards and put them on the bottom.
1, 2, 3, without looking at them.
Yeah, without looking at them, put them on the bottom, and then take the next top 3 cards.
I mean, face up or face down?
Yeah, face down. Face down's all good. And then go take 1 card from the top, put 1 there, put 1 there, and put 1 there.
1, 2.
Perfect. Put that one down. And we're going to do exactly the same with this one. So 3 to the bottom.
Including the 1, huh? 1, 2,
3. Yep. And then 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Perfect. Brilliant. Same here.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Brilliant.
To the bottom.
Yep.
Then
1,
1, 2,
3. Perfect. And then we're left with the last one. Go for it. You know the rules.
Okay, yep. 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
1, 2.
Perfect. Let's see how well you did. Just turn over all the top cards.
What?
Turn over the top cards.
The top part.
Yeah. Yep.
Ace of diamonds. Ha ha.
Yeah!
Didn't do that one before. Party trick.
Awesome stuff. I think that's all our time. So yeah, thank you very much, guys, and I will see you next week where we're talking more history and more wonderful things to do with other amazing magicians. I've been Simon South. Enjoy your week. Have a good one. See you soon.